My name is Dallas Frunzer. Back in February, I became aware of the coronavirus issue. It was still really early on in the pandemic, and there was so much that I didn't know. After seeing some of the images and some of the information coming out of China, I became overwhelmed with fear. Not knowing what to expect, but knowing that it was only a matter of time until we seen that here terrified me. I didn't know how to protect my 4 children, and I became consumed in worry, like debilitating worry. For a month, I cried. Every time I looked at them, I cried. Every time someone would ask me if I was okay, I cried. The news of the virus literally traumatized me. I ended up asking a friend of mine how she was coping with the news and everything that was going on. Her advice to me was, "I'll pray for you." I was pissed. I didn't understand how that was all she had to offer me. Days later, she sent me this link, 33 Bible verses about fear and anxiety. I read them, and I didn't really know what to feel after I read them. It was late, so I went to bed, and when I woke up, I felt this overwhelming peace. I read them again, and then I read them again, and it's like whatever fear that I was experiencing at that moment was erased every time I would read those verses. They were so comforting. I don't know how to describe it, but it was like God reached into my life with His words and told me that it was all gonna be okay. At this point, everything I knew about being a Christian was wrong. I have no background in faith. I was never talked to about Jesus or God as a child. As I understood it, church was used as a punishment for my parents and for my grandparents, and they wanted nothing to do with it, and they wanted to spare me from being forced to go. We didn't talk about it. At the end of the day, I realize now that it's about personal growth and a personal relationship with Jesus, and now knowing the comfort that He had to offer me was just amazing. The churches at this point had been shut down, so I turned to YouTube and to Facebook groups to learn all I could. I wanted to show my love and my obedience to God. So one day, while we were down at the river, I just jumped in and I declared myself baptized. I was a little fuzzy about the details on how this works, but I was just so happy to do it. When I told my friend who had prayed for me what I had done, she just laughed and she asked if we could go back to that spot and do it again. She'd be happy to help me out. I realized then and there that YouTube and Facebook weren't going to cut it, and being a part of a group of believers is just important. It's so important and inspiring. I was a little hesitant, but these ladies didn't at all meet my preconceived notions of what church ladies should be like. They were down to earth and they were caring, and it was the first time that I knew of that I was in a room with more than one other believer. They prayed and they cried and they just had this genuine love for Jesus that I'd never seen before. It was really exciting. Seeing the way that things lined up without any effort on my part has given me so much comfort and validation. I never had it handled on my own, and I'll never have to again. Jesus has always had my back. At the end of the day, I'm still a mom and I still worry about my children, but I'm not overtaken with it anymore. I've learned that the power of prayer is very real and very powerful. And now I just pray over them. I pray over my family, knowing that God used all I've been through for nothing more than my deliverance changes everything. And my fear of what's to come has been completely replaced by my trust in God.